approaches, strategies, and so that's the big picture of what we're going to try to accomplish today. So thrilled to see all of y'all. I can't wait to meet some of you since the puppy kindergarten is kind of across from my office. But let me start with Morgan Ferrens. Morgan is a PhD student in the Center for or a CNAP program. I guess it's Cognitive Neuroscience Admitting Program. But and she is working on part of her dissertation studying puppy psychology, physiology, temperament. And Hannah, who who walked out to take him on a restroom break. Hannah Solomons is also a PhD student in evolutionary anthropology, and she's doing her PhD work on puppy cognition as well. In fact, she just had her first paper published comparing wolf puppies to the dog puppies, some of whom we tested here at Duke. So if you're interested in what we found when we compared wolf puppies to dog puppies, Hannah can tell you all about it. And if you want to know somebody who's gotten to cuddle wolf puppies, she can tell you the difference between wolf and dog puppies. Tough PhD, right guys? Oh my gosh, tough life. So that's the two main PhD students. There's a couple other PhD students that you may bump into in the kindergarten. There's Wynn Jo and Gabby Venables. Gabby's in her first year, and Wynn is in her, I think it might be 6th year this year. So make sure to say hi to them. Some of you know them. And they'll just be in that office right across the way. And then, with no further ado, we have Gabby. Gabby, you're the class of?
21.
21. Okay, see, I'm glad you were unsure, because I was like, wait, is it 2020? Is it 21? Anyway, so Gabby, who was a volunteer like y'all, and did her thesis, and we're so excited with us, and so excited to have her back and helping us organize everything puppy that the puppy kindergarten is doing. And Vanessa is also back to help organize everything in terms of your volunteer program and all the care for the puppy. So there's really two sides to the puppy kindergarten. There's sort of the science side, which is me and the PhD students. And then there's the care side, which is you and Gabby and Vanessa. And then all the veterinary staff as well. And just quickly, while I'm explaining that, we collaborate with NC State. There's a behavioral veterinarian, Margaret Gruen, Dr. Margaret Gruen, or Professor Margaret Gruen. She's my collaborator on the puppy kindergarten project. And we have funding from the National Institute of Health, and we have funding from the Office of Naval Research, so the Department of Defense, and we have funding from the Canine Health Foundation. So all of those organizations are helping fund the staff and the facilities, etc. After Duke made an initial investment and built the kindergarten for us to do this fun thing together. And we're trying just to remind you to understand how puppies develop their psychology, because believe it or not, the last time there was an in-depth longitudinal study of puppies at this time span in their lives, when their brain is rapidly growing and finishes growing, the last really set of studies are from the 60s, the 1960s. So, and those studies are, by today's standards, pretty incomplete. So we know very little about how the cognition, physiology, psychology of dogs develops in this period from 8 to 18 weeks that we have the puppies at the puppy kindergarten, and it's when the brain is growing. It's still growing rapidly, and then it kind of finishes growing around 18 weeks. Okay, so you can see everybody's name up here and who the different people are that I introduced to you. Of course, I can't forget Congo. Congo will be around. He's up here in front, and he'll be here to help as well. And many of you guys know Congo. Congo is a retired service dog. He is from the organization that all our dogs are from, Canine Companions. They have been rebranded. It was Canine Companions for Independence, but now they're Canine Companions. So they prefer to be called Canine Companions. Okay. the research project that we're working on is we're actually looking at the development of dogs in 2 different rearing strategies. One is the puppy kindergarten. The way that we do it here, we're intensively socializing. They're meeting tons of people. They're going all over campus to meet lots of people and go in new places so that when they're young and the rapid brain growth is ongoing, that they're getting a lot of experiences that hopefully give them a lot of confidence when they get older. The alternative strategy we're comparing that to is the traditional puppy raising strategy that Canine Companions uses. And it is that puppies are raised at home. And they experience everything you experience at home. They're going to meet fewer people. They're going to go fewer places. But they're going to grow up in a loving home. The question is, if you raise puppies in these different ways, do they develop in any way different? And so Hannah and Morgan and the NC State staff, you'll also meet, is Kara on there anywhere?
Yes.
Where's Kara? Oh, there she is, Kara. Kara Moore is coordinating all the research. So if you get interested in the research at all, that's your research team. Kara's coordinating the research. Margaret and I are working on the research together with all the graduate students. And Hannah and Morgan are leading that in a big way. So get connected with them if you're interested in the science part. Okay, so that's kind of the big picture science, but what does it have to do with you as the volunteers? I mean, the thing that got everybody so excited about this is really the goal of this project. I mean, we could have done all that science stuff I just told you without the Duke Puppy Kindergarten. Most of it we probably could have done another way. But we wanted to have puppies on campus because we wanted to bring joy to campus. And even though poor Dunn, he's like, is he done yet?
He just wants to see Congo.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. So anyway, yeah, we wanted joy on campus. And how much fun is it it was just a crazy idea of, what if we had puppies on campus? How cool would that be? That was really the inspiration for all of this. And to give y'all a chance to help us raise these dogs, to have people have something to look forward to in their day that's just nothing but just hanging out with puppies and just de-stress, not worry, and have fun. And so that's where y'all come in because it's fun to nurture, take care of their dogs, to de-stress. And then, of course, the other thing that's in it for you is that, you know, these dogs are going around campus and potentially we can help other people. And we have outings that Vanessa and Gabby will tell you about that the puppies go on that hopefully you guys will help us with. Because not only are they busy puppies that we're going to be testing them every other week, so we have to test their psychology every other week, Hannah and Morgan and the science team, but they need to go out and about on campus and they have to be trained. They have to learn all the things that they have to learn at this stage for their training to potentially be successful service dogs. So we need everybody's help with all those steps of the way. And then the fun thing is, the last fun thing is when we started the project several years ago, all the puppies spent the night in the BioSci building. And Canine Companions hated that. We didn't like it either, but we just didn't have housing on board yet for this idea of people having dogs in the dorms. For this project. And it was really funny. Vanessa and I were on a phone call with the interim chair of housing. And housing actually has always been very positive, but they just wanted to be careful. And the current interim chair was like, where are the puppies? How many can you bring? Can you have 50? We were like, okay, all right, okay. I think we're good with the dorm people. I think they're happy with us now. Okay, so that's a positive thing. Is that so now puppies none of them will be in BioSci. We will only use BioSci if there's some kind of emergency. We have the ability to keep them there if we had to for some reason, but of course we don't want to. So that's another positive development from last time. So I think that's all I'm going to say, unless you guys think of anything I forgot in my bit.
Just lab meeting. Lab meeting.
Just, okay, promote lab meeting. So we are going to have lab, if you're interested in the science of all, and you don't need to be, that's the fun thing about the public kindergarten, you can just come on puppies and that's cool. That's been one of my favorite parts is coming in and talking to all the volunteers and finding out, you know, we have like math majors and econ people and whatever, and they don't even know anything about what's going on in our lab, and that's completely fine. I think it's wonderful that you guys are just in there hanging out, and I'm happy to meet you. But if you are interested in the ongoing science, if you want to participate at all, or just want to learn more about it, we're having our first lab meeting next Tuesday at 5 o'clock And we're going to have lab meetings Tuesdays at 5 p.m. We made it 5 p.m. not because we're parents, but for you guys, because we know, sorry kids, we know that y'all need to be done with classes and stuff for it to be, so you can join us. So right, Gabby, or?
Gabby will send out all the information.
Okay, we're going to everybody? You're going to blast everybody? Okay, we're going to blast you.
I think you guys already got this.
All right, if we didn't spam you, we'll spam you again. Sorry, apologize for the spam. I was hesitating because of the room, because the room is kind of confusing where it's going to be. But next Tuesday, 5 o'clock. All right, so any questions? Awesome, my first time back in like 18 months, and boom, no questions. That's always a bad sign. But anyway, let me hand it over to much more impressive, important people who are going to take it the rest of the way and tell you all how to take care of these puppies and everything you need to know. But just know I'm always there if you have questions, want to tell me what's going on. If I'm around, happy to talk to you. Okay, thanks. Ooh, I got clapping. No, that's for the puppies.
Yeah, that's for the puppies.
Thank y'all.
Hello everyone, it is wonderful to see you all. I know everybody missed the puppies, but I missed you. Morgan, do you have to, everyone wave goodbye to Ethel? Everybody wave goodbye to Ethel. Yes, I missed all of you, and it's so good to see everybody back. Fingers crossed we make it all the way through the semester with no hiccups. So Brian just gave you the... Oh yes, so here is Gabby. She's the DPK coordinator. Write down her phone number, text her anytime. Gabby's going to go through the Slack with you guys, and then a couple of other new innovations that we have. So the purpose of just tonight is just to go over, because it's been so long, we just wanted to go over with everybody just those sort of like general run-up show. Before you leave tonight, please sign in at the front so that we know that you were here and you were present. Okay, you guys all got Gabby? No? Okay. So, Congo is our retired service dog, and he will be out and about. If you see him, please give him a hug. I think the hardest part of puppy kindergarten for him is that everybody's going into the puppy kindergarten and they just walk right past him in the office and he gets really sad. So he's really happy to see you too. So make sure if you see him that that you say hello. Canine Companions is the largest service dog organization in the US, and that is who we primarily partner with. We also partner with ears, eyes, nose, and paws, and then we test some other puppies around the area. But Canine Companions are really the organization we work with the most. Some of the assistance dogs they train are service dogs, hearing dogs, skill companions, and dogs for veterans. There's a sort of service dog and assistance dog can be used interchangeably. Some people have really strict definitions, but I think Canine Companions are happy if you use the word service dogs with them. The purpose of bringing these puppies here, as Brian said, is to the puppy's most critical period of brain development is from 8 to 20 weeks. So we as humans take about 20-something years before our brains are done growing. Puppies are done and baked basically by 20 weeks old. So what we're trying to learn is that there's a massive shortage of service and assistance dogs. You can imagine the waiting lists are like really, really long. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to give them some kind of almost like a head start, but then also we're looking at their sort of like early aptitude testing. So we test the puppies once every 2 weeks. A different thing about this semester is that you guys will actually be able to help with the testing. So I know Gabby sent you the ICOP forms to fill in. Please fill those in, because if a puppy is being tested on your shift, you will just go in with that puppy and help Kara. So you will actually be able to see the science happening. And there's one test that is my favorite. It's called Novel Object, and basically, those giant animatronic toys. They're like a life-size kitty, life-size lion. So one of the tests is that we see how the puppies react to new things that they've never seen before. Anyway, I hope you guys get to see that one, because that is like super one of my favorites. Okay, so we have to socialize them. We have to provide a certain amount of training, and then we're tracking their cognitive and temperamental development as they get older until they're about 18 to 20 weeks, and then they leave us and go on to their puppy raisers. So the timeline, and as you see we fit in here, is that the puppies, like Ethel and Dunn, they were just recently with their mom and their sister and they went through the processing center at California where all their puppies go. Canine Companions has about 700 puppies a year, and so they all go through California, and then usually from 8 weeks old at Dunn and Ethel's age, they go straight to their puppy raisers. So what we are is we're kind of like an interim period. We're just in that period from like 8 to 20 weeks old. We do all these cognitive testing, we raise them here, we get them to a certain point in their training, and then they go to their puppy raisers after that. You may say, why would these puppy raisers want these puppies after they're still being cute at 20 weeks? Well, after they leave here, they are potty trained. The idea is potty trained, crate trained, and they are well on their way to being on their path to being turned in at 18 months old. So they, at 18 months old, I think 12 to 18 months, they get turned in to professional training. And this is where they learn all the really complicated stuff, like how to turn lights on and off, how to do laundry, how to open doors. And so this is the part where they lose a lot of dogs, in terms of like some of the dogs don't make it. And it is really, really hard to graduate as a service dog. Congo made it through the training like 3 times before he was retired, so he's a super smart boy. But, so the reason we're doing this early aptitude testing is to hopefully, the goal is that our position, instead of getting dogs from like 10 to 20 weeks old, maybe we'll get a dog like Ethel and Dunn, run him through the test and say, oh my gosh, this puppy is almost certainly going to make it. Like they should go through the advanced training and you know, keep going on their path. And then maybe we'll get like another dog that doesn't do so well, and then we're like, well, this one probably can be a therapy dog or be brought home to someone's pet. It costs about $50,000 to raise one of these dogs, and Canine Companions gives them completely for free to whoever needs them. So it would really help them as an organization, and it would help a lot of other service dog organizations if we could just, you know, take a puppy early, figure out where they are, and not have them wait for 18 to 24 months before they finally figure out whether they're going to make it or not. So, if all the dogs pass their formal training, they get to meet their future partner. This can be like kids with autism, it can be people with mobility issues, and they stay on the campus for 2 weeks for a really intensive training program. Because it's not, until this point, it's just all about the dog learning to help someone and be with someone. So the 2-week training period is to help the person learn how to be with their dog. So the pair goes home together, and Canine Companions is there the whole time. They support them, and it's like the graduation ceremony is super emotional. Like every time, everyone cries. Okay. We are here to answer any of your questions. I know actually most of the volunteers are actually returning. Don't be embarrassed if there's something you've forgotten or you can't remember something, some kind of procedure. You can ask us anytime. Ask your shift mates as well, because you know most of you have been through this program like many, many times. You don't have to memorize anything we're saying here. We're just giving you a general overview, except for the major rule, which is just if the puppy gets up and walks away, if the puppy is sleeping, just leave them alone. And this is something that's really important for visitors too. We're going to have hopefully less visitors than usual, because we only have visiting hours for one period from about 2 to 3. So we won't have as many visitors as we do in a normal semester. I think spring of 2020 we were like 4,000 people came to see the puppies in like 4 weeks or something crazy like that. So anyway, just the number 1 rule. If a puppy is sleeping, if a puppy wants rest, if they get up and they move away, and you know all the signs, just make sure they get their space. Okay, I feel like I don't even need to go over this with you guys, but just if you have any scheduling conflicts, if you need any support, if you get really stressed out and you can't make it, just not show up. Just contact one of us and we will work with you. If you need to stop halfway through the semester, I know the semester is going to be different from other semesters, just let us know and we will support you and we will make sure you have everything you need to just have the best semester you can. And you know, I know the puppies are wonderful and they're full of joy, but it is a lot of work. So if anything happens, come and talk to us. If you need any help, Gabby and I are here to support you. Okay, because we have the puppies in the dorms and they go home with people every night, we have a new schedule. So there's no 7 o'clock in the morning shift. Are you guys happy about that? No 7 a.m. So the puppy day starts at 9. We have a puppy bus, which we will get to in a second. So the day starts at 9. All the puppies, by some kind of mechanism, get to the puppy kindergarten where you'll be. We have an extended nap from 10 to 12, and we kind of like bridge this nap across the 2 shifts because we know that some people were sad that they just turned up to their shift and their puppy was like sleeping the whole time. So we like kind of like bridged it from like the 9 to 11, and then the 11 to 1 shift. 12 o'clock they have lunch. 1 p.m. this is going to be really important, is that we're going to take the puppies on a long walk. We're going to try and make sure they get really exercise, that they get really proficient at wearing their gentle leaders. All the previous volunteers, you guys know, it gets really crazy in the puppy room sometimes. And we're going to try and really take down those periods of rough play, basically by making them really tired. And also make sure they're really good on their gentle leaders and their capes. And so we'll go through the walk, but there is going to be like a dedicated period for exercise. 2 to 3, as I said, we're going to have the visiting hour. We're going to have it outside, so it's safer that way. You guys know it's sign in and all that procedure. And then at like 4 o'clock, it's time to just get their capes on, put their go bags together, and then the puppies will be picked up. So other testing, other activities you guys might be involved in. As I said, you're going to be doing the puppy testing this semester, which should be really fun. And if there are any outings, you're just going to come. So we decided, or we thought we would try a 1-to-1 puppy ratio because we had so many volunteers apply for this semester to be part of the day volunteer program. Also, we had less puppies. Also, we needed less volunteers because we didn't have that 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. timeline, 11 p.m. timeline, that we would, because we have 5 volunteers on each shift and 5 puppies, that you'll kind of arrive and then choose your puppy. So you'll have your puppy, you'll get to monitor, you know, it's your responsibility if they pee inside, if they poop when they're not supposed to, you're supposed to log their feeding. And so you would just really devote yourself in that period of time to a 1 puppy rather than everyone trying to take care of all the puppies at the same time. So it's the same as last semester in terms of you're going to sign in and sign out using the computer. We might switch it over to an iPad, but at the moment it's a computer. It's Homebase, which Gabby will go through. Make sure you've got your smock and your name tag. I know they're really fashion forward, but the smocks are really good for visitors who know then who you are and know that they should listen to you. For some reason they are being this amazing marker of authority. So it just sort of gives you that extra, it gives you the extra weight you need if you need to tell a visitor that they need to leave a puppy alone, or the puppies need to go nap, or there's too many people, like that kind of stuff. All right, write down the code, 3512, in case you ever get to the door and it's locked. And we have a new app called Dog Log, which is really exciting. Gabby's going to go through that too. And then just initial the daily checklist. So we updated the checklist so it reflects this new timetable and schedule that we have. So just make sure you initial that and then erase it at the end of the day. This checklist is a special checklist, and this is for IACOC, which is the Animal Welfare Organization at Duke. We need to have records every day that all these things were done. In particular, the water is really important, and that the bowls are being sanitized and the floors are being vacuumed at the end of every day. So we need to keep these records. If there are gaps like they are there, then that's not good. So we just need to make sure specifically that these are initialed by the volunteers who have taken on those duties. And we're sorry that it's like doubling up to the checklist, but these are records that we have to keep, and we might have to show them at some point. So that will be on the wall.
Wait a second. Let me just say, it seems like a really trivial, silly thing, but if we mess that up, they'll close us down. So we have to do that right. It's a really important thing. Meaning Duke would have to shut us down because of this checklist. It's just part of the federal oversight of animal research.
And sometimes we have surprise inspections. So we need these to be just filled out correctly at the end of every day. Okay, this is Gabby's turn. All the new technology stuff. I just had to join Slack like a week ago, so if any of you are new, I fixed that, but so far it's easy, user-friendly. Okay, you guys hear me? Okay, awesome.
Yay,
Okay.
Gabby!
Hi. Okay, so for Slack, hopefully you guys are kind of familiar with Slack at this point, but are all of you guys in the Slack? Yes, awesome. Okay, if you're not, you can just email to puppykindergarten@gmail.com and I will help you get in the Slack. But we basically have 3 channels. All of you are only in all volunteers right now because I'm trying to figure out how to add you to the other 2, but I will. And then we'll have these 3 channels. So all volunteers is the general channel where you guys can ask questions, talk to each other, do whatever you need to do. The important channel is going to be just for me and Vanessa and staff members basically to tell you any announcements or important things that you need to know about the puppies or any tasks you might need to complete. And then, of course, we have a pictures channel. So if you have any cute pictures that you've taken of the puppies, you can send that there so everybody can enjoy them. So this is sort of what we've done in past years. Probably sounds familiar, but that is what Slack is going to look like. And then you can also use Slack if you want to, since we're all on it. If you want to make a Slack channel or group with your specific shift mates so that you guys can sort of communicate if someone is running late or something like that. Then you can talk in your own little channel. So that's something you can do. All right. And then Homebase. So also, similar to Slack, we've been using this for like a year now, year and a half. So hopefully a lot of you guys are familiar with Homebase. If you're not, it's very straightforward, easy to use, and makes signing in really easy for you guys and also for us to make sure that you guys are all making it to your shifts on time. So hopefully you guys have all gotten the app or gotten like an invite from me to get the app and then log in. So you're going to use your Homebase app to sign in whenever you get to your shifts. So we'll have Homebase open on the computer or maybe on an iPad, and it looks just like this. So you'll be able to see your name, where your shift time is, and then you just click time clock right there, and then it'll ask you to put in your individual PIN, which you can see through your app when you click like the more button in the bottom right. Does this sound familiar to you guys? Okay, cool. So you type in your PIN, submit, and then it'll ask you if you want to clock in, and you'll say yes, and then you'll be on the record for your shift. And then you do the same thing when you're going to sign out of your shift at the end of your time slot. Same thing, sign out, and then you're good to go. And then we see all of that on our end, which is super helpful. Okay, and then you're also going to use Homebase to find alternates for your shift if an emergency comes up or maybe an academic, like a field trip or something like that. I don't know, whatever you guys have. If you feel like it's big enough that it warrants you missing your shift, then you can put in a request through Homebase to find an alternate. So what you would do is you go in, click on your shift, and then you select everybody in the whole Homebase group to request an alternate for your shift. Does that sound familiar from the Ed Puzzle video? Okay, you might need to go back and rewatch that. I had to rewatch it like maybe 3 or 4 times before I understood how to do it. So definitely just make sure you know how to do that if you're in that situation. And it's also important to remember that when you request a cover for your shift, we still have to approve that request. So you need to write the reason why you need a cover for that shift in the request, and then we will either approve or deny it, basically. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, great. So that's Homebase. If you have any technical difficulties with Homebase, again, just send it to the DPK email, and we would be happy to help you. We were also talking yesterday about how it would be really helpful if you guys all upload a picture of yourself on your Homebase profile, so then we can really like see who's who. And I know you guys will have a lot of puppy pictures by the end of this, so feel free to use those. Okay, and now just a few
few technical things about the puppies. Again, stuff that you guys are probably familiar with, but we'll just go over it. Because they're so young, especially these first few weeks, and because we will be getting 8-week-old puppies for the next like this Thursday and next Thursday, we're gonna have young puppies for a while. So the best way to avoid accidents is just to take them out every 30 minutes. We have a timer in the puppy kindergarten, so if you wanna just keep that timer going, every 30 minutes, take them out. That'll be your best course of action to avoid accidents. Especially after they wake up from a nap, that's a really big one. After they drink a lot of water, which they do, because I think they like forget about water sometimes and then they like catch up. After meals, and then if you just see them kind of sniffing around or looking kind of awkward, sometimes that's a sign you need to take them out. We're going to be using the command hurry, which again a lot of you are familiar with. When they're actively going to the bathroom, you're going to be saying hurry, so that they start to associate that command with going to the bathroom. And as you guys know, we only use positive reinforcement for all training, so just something to keep in mind there. And you want to be really like rewarding when they do something right, when they hurry outside, or if you're doing training and they sit or down correctly, you're going to be really like positively reinforcing that, be really excited, stuff like that. Okay. Where poop goes. So this is actually probably one of the most important
Critical
takeaways.
details.
Yeah, critical. This. So we do not want any poop inside, is sort of like the bottom line here. So we have places where you can dispose of puppy poop. So you'll use your little puppy bag, pick up the poop, you're holding the poop. It can only go in the paw pails that are outside. So we have one in the puppy park, the closed place where we play with the puppies outside. And there's also one right outside the door of Bioside when you're kind of going into the sub-basement. You guys know where those generally are. They look just like that. It's pretty clear. So you're going to want to dispose of the puppy poop bags in those. Never bring them inside. Just never do that. And then when you need to dump out the paw pails, you're going to dump them right into the dumpster. So there's this dumpster that's sort of behind the lab. If you're not sure where it is, you can get a returning volunteer to show you. And the main thing is you don't want to throw poop bags like over the side from the bottom.
Madison one year was like climbing on top of the dumpster to get all the little poop bags off to go in the dumpster.
Yeah, that was
Your Duke students, make the shot. It's a free throw. Come on.
So you're going to want to come up the stairs. There's like stairs, like right there. Have someone show you who's done it before. Make sure you see the poop go into the dumpster. Don't throw it anywhere. So that's where poop goes. Is that totally clear?
And just the main thing about this is just respectful to housekeeping. We don't want housekeeping to have to like take any poop bags out of the bathrooms or have any housekeeping stuff that needs to tell us that there are poop bags all around the dumpster but not in the dumpster. So yes, to be kind.
Yes. All right. And then nap time. So as Vanessa covered, we are implementing this longer nap in the morning from 10 to 12. So if you're in that first or second shift, this is going to be relevant for you. So they're going to have their individual nap experiences in the husbandry room. So again, have a returner show you if you've never been, but there's a little key to the husbandry room in one of the drawers in the playroom. It's labeled. You should be able to find it. So you're going to come in here. This is where you put the puppies for their 2-hour nap, and you can kind of listen for them. We are going to set up a furbo so it's easier for you guys. It's kind of like a baby monitor, so you can check in on them when they're napping. But until we get that set up, just sort of listen out for them. You can usually hear them. But you definitely want to make sure when you're putting them in their crates for nap time that you take off their collars. I think we can actually leave the activity monitors.
No, these ones you're out to naked in the crates.
Okay, naked in the crates.
Naked in the crates.
No activity monitors, especially because it's the wire crate, so there's a lot of things that they could get caught on. So always take off both things, and you'll see these little baskets on top of the crates where you can kind of put all their things until they're ready to wake up and come back to the kindergarten. And then when you put their collars back on, so they have one collar that has an activity monitor on it. If you guys aren't familiar, it's like wrapped up in like pet gauze type thing. So it's really bulky on them right now since they're so little. So we have that collar, and then they have their collar that the leash attaches to. So when they wake up from their nap, you're going to put both of those back on, And the activity monitors have a little arrow that should be pointing towards their nose when you put the activity monitor back on. So you guys also might remember this. Again, if you're not sure, just ask a shift mate because that's important for the activity monitor data that we're getting from the puppies. Does that all sound good to everybody? Great. Okay, and then just Dogs 101. So some of you are probably familiar with this, and a great place to brush up if you feel like you haven't been around puppies in a while is to read our manual, which has a lot more details about how you should be interacting with the puppies, what training looks like, and things like that. But these are sort of some main takeaways. The main thing is consistency, and that's something that's really important, especially in our setting, because we have so many people interacting with the puppies. We really want to make sure you guys are doing similar things so they're able to learn. So that's really important for the training commands. So you guys should really make sure you look at the manual. We have that whole section of training commands so you know what words you should be using with the puppies and what kinds of things we should really be working on, since this is a critical learning period, as we heard at the beginning. Be confident around them. It might feel a little weird at first if maybe you're a new volunteer and you haven't interacted with the puppies a lot, but you'll warm up to them quickly and learn how to sort of handle them. Look at the returning volunteers because they are definitely confident with the puppies at this point. And we sort of talked about signs of stress. So if they look like they maybe don't want to be bothered, or they're tired, or things like that, then you want to just sort of give them their space, especially if it's during like a visitor hour and they seem like maybe they're stressed or any of these things. Don't be afraid to tell a visitor, like, just leave the puppy be. They just need some time to themselves. It's another reason why we have the smocks, so you like have that authority over visitors. So really don't be afraid to do that, and if it's something where you're more concerned, you can obviously find me or Vanessa to tell us. And then do not give puppies human food. Hopefully that is a given, but definitely don't do that. And then it just goes along with consistency. If you ask the puppy to do something, any of the behaviors we're working on, you need to be prepared to reward the puppy. Very important. So another reason why the smocks are so helpful is they have these little pouches where you can put treats, and we just use the little kibble that they eat. So if you just always have those on hand, then you'll always be ready to reward the puppy when they do something good. Okay. Veterinary issues. So always good to err on the side of caution. If you notice anything that you think might be concerning, then let us know. You can Slack us. You have my number now. You can just call me, and we can have a quick chat about it. Just whenever you're worried about something, you can always let us know. Diarrhea is going to be our most common problem. We've already dealt with it. We've also dealt with it the most. We've done. But definitely is something that we need to keep an eye on. It can be dangerous if it gets to a certain point, so we want to be logging those very diarrhea-y poops on dog log so we all see it. We'll talk about dog log in a second, but yeah, definitely something to be aware of, and diarrhea protocol is something that is mentioned more in the manual, but by logging it on dog log, we can see when they've had enough like diarrhea that we need to put them on medication. So that's why that's going to be really important. And then our main vet is Triangle Veterinary Hospital, and our emergency vet is Triangle Veterinary Referral Hospital.
They are two different places.
They are different. So this is good to know. We'll usually be around in the day, but especially for dorm volunteers, I know you guys have read this in your manual already, but the emergency vet is good to know, just in case of an emergency if you can't reach us.
And we have had them. We have had to go, so
Yes. So definitely.
good to know.
Definitely good to know. All right, our spaces. Sure. Okay, let's do the tour.
Kindergarten. Start at the Biological Science Building on Science Drive. Walk down Science Drive towards Gross Hall until you get to the camel statue and turn right. Continue down the hill where you'll walk by the puppy park and then go in the door right to your right. You'll see a sign for the Canine Companions Center. The first door on the left is our lab, where we do puppy testing and have lab meeting. Duke Puppy Kindergarten is back to the right. You'll find almost everything that you need here as a volunteer, like leashes and smocks, which are behind the door. You'll also find a washer and dryer, the whiteboard, and emergency information on the wall. Just outside of DPK is the DPK closet, where you'll put your backpack when you arrive for your shift. In addition, visitors will put their bags in this closet too. A lot of extra materials or supplies are in the closet. Finally, the DPK husbandry room is down the hallway. You'll go by the men and women's bathroom, and the door's on the left. Husbandry volunteers have a key to the husbandry room. This room is where puppies will take naps and go at night if you're not going to student dorms. Don't forget to fill out the husbandry checklist if you are a morning or night volunteer. Finally, here's how to get to the DPK cleaning room. To open the door, use the same key to get into the husbandry room.
Okay, so all the puppies are in the dorm now, so you don't need to do the checklist in the husbandry room, but you do have to do the one in the main puppy kindergarten room.
Got it. Okay, so and then you guys have the husbandry keys now in the drawer in the playroom, so you guys are all able to get in there for when you put them in for their naps. And hopefully you guys also watched that on your Edpuzzle, so now you're like super clear on where everything is so oriented. All right. Also, the music is just funny. Okay. So now we're moving on to some exciting new things. So even if you're a returning volunteer, pay attention because this is all new. So the first thing is our initial scheduling. So usually we, as you guys know, we used to get the puppies all at the same time, but this semester is a little different where we have Ethel and Dunn right now, and we're pretty sure we're getting another puppy this Thursday and then 2 more the next Thursday. So because of that, we do not need 5 volunteers right away in every shift. So that's why I've been sending out just a few of you to come in for these first shifts because we just don't need 5 people. So for week 1, which is this week, if you guys have come in already, you know it's 2 volunteers per shift, and I sent out that list of who's coming in. Next week, we're going to add 1 more volunteer to that shift, so I'm going to send that schedule out soon, so you'll know if you need to come in or not. But hopefully you have these spans of time kind of open, since we told you guys like the first week when shifts were going to start. And then, week 3, starting September 6th, we're going to have all 5 volunteers per shift because we'll have all 5 puppies, and it'll be super exciting. So that's sort of why the initial scheduling has been a little weird. If you've been confused about whether or not you need to come, just look for emails from me, and I will be sending you little spreadsheets of who should be coming into each shift. Does that make sense to everybody? Awesome. Okay, and yeah, I'll send them out the week before, so you'll get a schedule for next week, August 30th, in the next few days for me. Okay, and then meals. So we used to do, this is only important for the 11 to 1 shift, so the one that feeds them at noon. So if you're in one of those shifts, listen up. We used to just do, I think, 3/4 cup of the food. But now Canine Companions wants us to do more of a gradual transition from this GI food, which is, I think, good for their stomach. It's good for their stomach. It's good for their stomach. So we're going to be, there's a bit of a transition period. So this week we have like 1/2 cup of the GI food plus 1/2 cup of the dry food. And then next week, which will be more relevant to a lot of you, we're going to do the 3/4 cup of the dry food plus 1/4 cup of the GI food plus water because we want to soak all the food for a little bit before we give it to them. So this will be laminated in the playroom. You don't have to memorize any of this. But just so you know, we do have a different, sort of slightly different diet that they're getting in their meals. So just something to be aware of. If you have any questions, you can obviously just ask me. Okay, and then rough play. So this is another thing that's going to be really important this semester. We really want to minimize the amount of rough play. And we know, you guys know, the puppies can get pretty rough with each other. So we really want to crack down on this. That's a picture of Ethel and Dunn yesterday. Not rough playing, that's gentle play. But be sure to just break up any rough play between puppies. And then once we have up to the 5 puppies we're going to have this semester, we do want to encourage you guys to always have the puppies split up in 2 different groups, just to minimize the amount of like how rambunctious they get with each other. So if it's nice out, you can hopefully have a group of 2 puppies and then a group of 3 puppies split split up between the playroom and the puppy park.
And generally, the Canine Companions rule is that tug and fetch that's safe. If they're tugging on a toy together, or if they're chasing a ball, it's fine. It's just the biting and the face biting, and the snarling and the who is here for Weston? You guys remember Weston. Anyway, so yeah, we're trying to cut down on that and just make sure that, especially, and this is super important this semester, because 2 of our puppies are going to be so much littler than Ethel and Dunn. So we just want to make sure all the puppies are safe, and that if you just err on the side of just pulling them apart, maybe taking one for a walk. That was a really good strategy we found when puppies were getting super crazy. If they're getting super crazy, it usually means they have a lot of energy. So either take them for a walk, give them a break. Yeah.
Alright, and then Vanessa sort of touched on this, but we're going to be implementing a 1 puppy per person policy type thing. So during each shift, we're going to have each of you kind of choose a puppy that will be your responsibility for the 2-hour shift. So this is sort of going to be like a first come, first serve situation, if there are favorite puppies, which I know there often are. But we do want to encourage you guys to choose different puppies as you come in for different shifts, especially so the puppies can kind of get to know other people and increase their overall socialization. But that's the policy we're sort of going to go by, and we think it'll be really helpful because it sort of helps eliminate any bystander just not paying attention to puppies or not really pulling your weight, because if you have 1 puppy, you're going to have to be attentive to that 1 puppy. And that's also going to be important for dog walk, which I'm about to talk about. So yeah, does that make sense to everybody? If people aren't able to share puppies properly, we might have to like draw sticks or something. I don't know. We're going to feel this out, but we think it'll be really helpful. Okay. We're really excited about dog walk.
We're so excited to talk about you guys.
Okay, I'm going to send you guys a little invite card right now.
It's pretty cool.
It is very cool. Let me, okay, hopefully you guys all got that in Slack. But what you're going to go ahead and do right now is download the Doglog app if you have not. And it's just called Doglog. You can't miss it. Is everyone seeing the Doglog app?
We just give everybody minutes to like download.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so excited about this app.
It's really fun. But you probably will want to turn off your notifications.
Yeah. there can be a lot of activity at certain times of day. Yes, Congo, you're on top of dog.
He got so excited when you got excited.
Oh, did
He likes Doglog.
you? You like dog?
Oh, that's my cat. And my passcode.
So if you guys want to play around with Doglog afterwards, we have Congo is our test dog. You see him here. So you can just go through, you can have Congo do different things, like have diarrhea, you're on the poop scale, number 5, and then you finish, like that. So Congo is your test dog, so feel free to do whatever, just to play around the app using Congo. Okay, Gabby.
Okay, Doglog. Okay, so you guys all got did you get the message from me just now? And all volunteers. Okay, so it has a really long code. I don't know why Doglog is so secure in there, like joining the pack. Great, yay. Okay, so you guys can put in that code, and it should allow you to join the pack. Has anyone successfully joined the pack just now?
You have to make an account first, correct?
Yes. I just signed in with Google, but
You can sign in with Google, you can sign in with Facebook.
Say your code's not valid.
oh man, sometimes it needs a new one. Just one
Yeah,
second.
mine did.
Let me send another.
So we're going to use Doglog to track all sorts of things, including when the puppies get dropped off at the kindergarten. We can see when a puppy arrives. We can see who dropped off the puppy. We can see who picks up the puppy, when the puppy left. We've been using it with great success to track Little Dun's diarrhea. Kate and Candler cured it for us, but we were able to see in real of time from the absolute mess that was my house, going through April, who's one of our volunteers, who's also a vet, and finally arriving at Caden Candler, where he did a perfect 3.5 poo this morning at like 8:03, something
Everyone
like that.
celebrated.
Yay! It was amazing! We can see who's waking up during the night, who's waking up during the night, how many times they wake up during the night, why they're waking up during the night. When Jordan decides to ignore Ethel and then she goes back to sleep for 7 hours straight, we can all heart that. It's just, we can actually export the data as well. So in the future, believe it or not, there are very few papers on how many times a puppy needs to go to the bathroom when they're 10 weeks versus 12 weeks. So we'll be able to track all that information, but really it's just really great for Gabby and I to be able to see where the puppy is the puppy healthy? You can send pictures through DogLog.
You can use the comment tool.
Yes, look, we can use the comment. We're going to do it right now. I'll make a comment here. Congo. I'm going to take a picture of Congo in class and use it, and then you can crop it, and then you can say, Margaret, does he look okay? Like that, and then post it. Congo, finished. Like this. So if a puppy has any kind of bruise, bump, scrape, just take a photo, upload it to DogLog. Gabby and I can see it. We can get it right to the correct veterinary staff. Thank you, Preetha. Thank you, Ren. Yes, question.
My code still says not valid.
All right,
no.
we will.
I feel like it might have been one person per code because I joined and then no one else's works.
Well, it would be you, wouldn't it?
Oh.
Okay, then what we're gonna do is when you come into your first shift, that's sort of what I've been doing the past 2 days. We can get you set up with DogLog if you're not already. Does that sound good? Okay. All right.
And just to reiterate what they said, that's so exciting is that, you know, part is it's to help us keep track of the puppies that we have now, but we will be able to use this data and publish papers that will help guide the veterinary community on recommendations for people at home. Because believe it or not, there's not good data on how many times the dog goes to the bathroom. You know, how long does it take for them to go to the bathroom? You know, how many naps do they take per day? There's not really good data on that because nobody was crazy enough to raise a whole bunch of dogs on a college campus and have a tool like DogLog. So it really is a unique, exciting new thing. So I hope you all have fun doing it because I know these do. But they're addicted. I'm like, really? You need to put that much detail? Like, okay.
So obviously a poop, if it looks abnormal, log it. If they go for a walk, how far do they walk? If they pee, you have to put there's an accident, and it makes you so much more vigilant because you don't want to put it in DogLog. Your puppy had an accident, so many accidents on your watch, so that's really helpful. Anytime you groom or do anything, any training, and just more detail the better. As I said, if you miss something, there's comments. Just type it in the comments. If the puppy's doing something unusual, particularly cute, just upload the comments. Just upload the comments. And definitely turn off your notification so when the puppy wakes up in the middle of the night, you guys all don't wake up at the same time. Okay.
All right, so that's DogLog. We'll work on getting all of you added. And going back to the one puppy per person idea, that's why that's going to be really helpful because if you're just watching Ethel for your 2-hour shift, it's going to be really easy to DogLog everything she does. Does that sound good? Okay. I think that's the main new thing. So hopefully, it's pretty easy to work DogLog. And yeah.
One more thing is we're doing a puppy energy expenditure study with Herman Ponser. So I don't know if you saw, he was just all over the news, logging the actual energy expenditure and growth and development of people. So now we're doing it in puppies. You guys are going to have to collect puppy pee. We'll show you how to do that if it's your shift, but there is a button that we put for urine collection that will send a reminder to the right person at the right time. So,
all right, so that's DogLog.
that's DogLog.
Anyone have any DogLog questions?
Always come and talk to us about DogLog. We are so excited about it.
Okay, good. Okay, all right.
I think we can move on.
driving around. That's the puppy bus.
Wave.
And we are going to have little bus stops for the dorm volunteers, which we will give you guys more details about where exactly those stops are going to be and when you need to be there. But we're going to be using the puppy bus to sort of round up the West Campus dorm puppies for the morning and bring them into puppy kindergarten by 9 when you guys are there. And then additionally, the off-campus dorm volunteers are probably going to be driving their puppy to kindergarten, which means they're going to come up to the car circle by the camel statue, like you guys saw in the tour video. So if you are a morning shift, we're going to be sending one of you, or you guys get to choose which of you is the lucky one who is going to go stand up by the camel statue with our walkie-talkies. We've got walkie-talkies. So you're going to have a walkie-talkie up there when, let's say, Jordan drives up with Ethel. You're going to walkie-talkie down back to the other volunteers and be like, Ethel's here, like someone come up. So that you can grab Ethel's go bag and Ethel and bring her down to kindergarten in the morning. So that's our idea for how that's going to work, and we'll be running through that more as we get more puppies.
And the reverse is true for puppy drop-off. So
Yes.
the puppies will leave at, car circle will be 4:45 to 5, and then drop-off, I think, 5 to 5:15, just so we just don't overlap on those two things.
Yes, so that's the puppy bus. And yeah, you probably will see us driving around with puppies in the morning when you're not on your shift, so definitely say hi. And yeah, I won't necessarily run all semester because hopefully the puppies will get better at long walks, but definitely in the beginning, you guys know, especially with the gentle leaders, they can be a little stubborn.
Oh my gosh, you remember Wisdom? Wisdom would not walk. She would not walk. Okay.
So that's why we have the puppy bus. Okay, and then COVID protocols, unfortunately something we need to talk about still, but we're just happy to be back, so it's okay. We do obviously need you guys to wear a mask inside, as Duke requires you to. We do have a HEPA filter in the playroom, so you can, during your shift, make sure that it's on, and I think we set it to the germ setting.
Oh, it is blasting.
Yeah, blasting
out
on.
all the COVID.
So just make sure that's on and working, just to add to the safety there. And then for visiting hours, that's when we're going to be probably having the most people. But remember, we are limiting that to 12 people. It's only from 2 to 3, and you need to make sure that everyone is definitely masked and socially distanced as much as possible. I know people like to gather around the puppies, so just make sure that doesn't go on for like too long.
And we are just following the Duke guidance and protocols. So if Duke changes, then we change too. We will send out a notification. But I think at the moment it's as much as you can indoors with masks, so like distant. But then outside, I think it's unmasked and you can gather in small groups. So the limit to the kindergarten is still 12. While we're on that, we had a prepping session today about what would happen if Duke did alter its guidelines, if God forbid spring 2020 happened again, if some kind of like hybrid online classes occurred. And what we think we think that we're good, and then hopefully we can keep the puppy kindergarten going. What we need though is if anyone thinks that they might be able to be an alternate dorm volunteer, because we think the two most likely scenarios is that either Duke goes to sort of online classes and it's kind of like a short shelter in place stay, like what happened in fall last year, in which case we wouldn't be able to have the daytime volunteers, but then we would need more alternate dorm volunteers. So if you would be willing to take a puppy for a night or two in an emergency, or if something happened where Duke just kind of like more restricted movement and area, so again we couldn't have the day volunteers. Yes.
Are we allowed to do this if we live on East?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. So the puppy bus will come to the West Campus bus stop to pick up. You do have one volunteer who is on the East Campus, so the puppy bus, you will just bring the puppy to the West Campus bus stop. The puppy can ride the bus, and then we would come and pick you up from there. But yes, if you are in a position where, you think that it would be fun if you were restricted to your room to have a puppy with you for 1 or 2 nights, that would be amazing for us just to be able to know who to contact. Of course, if you think this would be too much, and absolutely no way, then that we completely understand. But that was something that was missing from our COVID plan when we had our meeting today. Was we realized that we would be short wanted people to keep puppies overnight if we needed them to.
All right, so we have the QR code and a bit.ly right there, so there's lots of ways to access the survey. I'll send it to you guys in the Slack channel too. But yeah, if you're at all interested, just fill that out so then we know to contact you. We're trying to get on this early just in case anything happens, so we have sort of people to fall back on if anything gets worse. But again, hopefully it won't.
We feel like by planning for this, it definitely won't happen.
Exactly. All right, and yeah, I'll send that, but if you guys want to write it down. It's just /DPK COVID plan. I didn't know you could do that. You can. Okay, and then we talked about visitors a lot already, but again, it's at 12 visitors at a time, which we would change if anything changes with Duke's policies. The main thing that you want to make sure you do, because I've seen people be kind of lenient about this and it can make you feel awkward to like ask people to, but you need to make sure visitors sign in and out using that QR code on the sign, or once we have the iPad set up, they can do it directly on the iPad.
But there's a QR code both outside the puppy park and outside the kindergarten. The puppy park is easy because most people can't get in, and you have to help them. So while they're getting in, just say, "Oh, just fill in this first," and then you can just open the door and let them in. And again, we're working on the iPad, and then we will put that up outside the puppy kindergarten. But there's already a QR code there, so any visitor who is not an official volunteer or staff should sign in.
It's also nice because I think there's an option if you're interested in getting involved.
Yes.
On that sign-in sheet, and people are always asking about that. So if they sign in, they have a way to sort of tell us that they're interested in getting involved.
And then also they have to watch a video which is stating our #1 rule, which is that if a puppy is leaving, or a puppy wants to be alone, just to leave it alone.
Yes, and then if they watch that video, you might not have to tell them. So it's sort of nice that they get that initial rule told to them. Another big thing is we can't have backpacks left in the hall, outdoor park, or in the puppy room. So when you have visitors coming into the playroom, we have the DPK closet with a shelf open so that visitors and you guys can put your backpacks away before coming into the playroom, just because the puppies kind of get into them.
The puppies will pee on their feet.
Yeah.
So, and then in the outdoor park, usually people just line up. They're pretty good about lining up their backpacks. They don't have to put them in the closet. They just line them out kind of like outside. You just don't want people to have, dangerous or expensive things in with puppies.
Yeah, and then that bolded thing at the bottom, like we've talked about, visitors must listen to you. We do think it's sort of a social psych concept that when you're wearing the blue smock, they are more likely to listen to you. So have that on, be confident, tell them if they're doing something wrong. It's all for the puppy's best interest, so we're really relying on you guys to communicate the rules with visitors. Okay, and then I think this is our final just takeaways. So respect the puppy's space. As you guys know where the poop goes in 2 places, the paw pails and the dumpster. Never goes inside. We also just want to emphasize showing up on time. That's very important to us, but even more important to the puppies and your shift mates.
Because you're one-on-one. There's going to be one puppy who doesn't have anyone. Imagine how sad that's going to be.
That's heartbreaking. You don't want to put a puppy through that. So you need to show up on time. If an emergency comes up, you call me and we will talk about it. It's okay. But just always let us know. It's absolutely unacceptable to be late or not show up and not have communicated that with us. So the main thing is just communicate so we know where you're at. And then we also have this feature on Homebase where it like notifies us if you haven't signed in 5 minutes after your shift starts. So you really want to sign in because we'll know right away. And then always prioritize the puppy's safety and well-being. Look for those signs of them being stressed or uncomfortable and make sure you do everything you can to make them comfortable. And then when you're unsure of something, we know this is a lot. We know the manual is like 50 pages or something. So there's a lot to know, but that's why we're here. So never hesitate to send us a message or come into the lab if we're not doing testing.
And then talk to your teammates.
Yeah.
Because, talk to your teammates, the people on shift. Get to know each other and then have fun. We are so glad to see you all. This is just a wonderful, wonderful day for us. So thank you all for coming. Don't forget to sign in. Brian, do you have something to add?
Well, first of all, thank you all. These guys work so hard. They work so hard. I just want to make one more, value proposition for you guys about why you're doing this. as if you needed more, that I forgot to say, which is the people who are the best volunteers end up being dorm raisers, and people who get excited about the science end up being like Jordan, who kept getting picked on, who was doing her thesis and went to one of the CCI or the Canine Companions campuses this summer and worked with dozens of puppies, and got to actually work with the organization that we work with, but on their campus. And Colin Kelly is also an undergraduate senior this year doing his thesis as well, and started out as a puppy kindergarten volunteer. So, being a great volunteer, if later you decide you want to be a dorm volunteer in a future year or next semester when we have a whole nother crew of puppies, when you log in and all the other stuff, we'll know, okay, this person's really excited, we can trust them, they're going to take care of the puppy, etc. So I hope that gives you a lot of reason to be excited, and the other final thing is I hope you make a lot of friends. I hope that not only do we bring joy to the campus, but you make a lot of friends, because boy, more than ever do we need to be making friends with each other. So please put your face on the
Homebase.
Homebase, thank
And
you. I was
then
like,
get your Polaroid pictures again.
if you can,
Puppy
and
face.
whatever, wear your name tag, introduce yourself to each other. I hope you become friends, and with that, I think we can close.
Thanks, guys.
And then sign in if you haven't, so we know that you were here.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.